Good evening and welcome. My name is Inbaal, and I am welcoming you to the Bigfoot Outlaw Network. Sorry, it looked like I lost focus for a little bit, but I was actually trying to go live on Instagram at the same time. Sorry, so it may have looked a little bit uncertain, but hey, I'm Inbaal. I'm a psychic, tarot reader, and witch, and I teach tarot. I'm very easy to get a hold of on Instagram, Facebook, and on my website, www.inbal.com. And I'm here broadcasting at you live from right here in the UK. You might be watching in many parts of the land. I can see we've got somebody near me. We've got somebody in the US. We've got somebody far from me, and somebody in Scotland already. So I'm going to flash up whatever messages you send me. So wherever you're watching me, you should be able to message me, all except for Instagram. That doesn't come to my network here. So all the other platforms you're watching us on, it could be YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitch, Facebook right now. You should be able to send messages, and then they arrive on my screen and I can flash them up on your screen. I'm going to show you how I do it in just a second, but first, let me introduce the topic. As we are right between, well, kind of sideways between the two eclipses of the end of the year, towards the end of the year, we're in between the third and fourth eclipse of the year. We're going to talk about the eclipses a little bit and what they mean to the different star signs, but we're also going to be doing eclipse readings. Since the eclipses have bring on an element of change, an element of transformation, metamorphosis, and can also bring secrets out into the open, I invite you to ask for an eclipse card pull or an eclipse reading, or if you want, you can just ask for a regular reading for your own topic. Anything is cool. And that will be what we do tonight. So as you're getting ready for it, as you're thinking of what your question might be, as you're thinking, maybe if you want the Thoth Tarot or the Rider-Waite-Smith Tarot, or I actually bumped into my crystal ball earlier as I knocked it off the shelf and into the ground. Incidentally, we're trying to tidy up the shelves. That's why they're looking so bad. The shelves behind me are a mess because we're sending away all the books that we don't need. It's a very painful process for both of us because I would love to have a house so big that I could keep all the books I've ever had, but that is not the case. Actually, let me tell you a funny thing. So I'm always trying to tidy the house. Because I'm not naturally sort of a very tidy person. So it's like an ongoing project. So I jumped into the Marie Kondo way of tidying. I had a look. It talks about sparking joy. I'm a very joyful person. And then one of the things it said there is that no house needs more than 15 books. And I thought, you know what? Maybe that's not the expert for me. So we have 15 books is this much. This is 15 books. Here in this room, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 bookshelves. The big kids have a bookshelf each, very full, and the small kids have a joint enormous bookshelf together. So as I was dropping a crystal ball to the floor just an hour ago, I realized I have a crystal ball and then another smaller crystal ball, and I haven't used them. And I think the crystal ball is a very eclipsy way of foretelling the future. So that's the kind of stuff we'll be up to. I want to show you how the messages look when they come to the screen. So let's start with Mark's message that arrived before I did. And the message says, good evening, lovely Inbaal. Thank you. I hope that you and everyone there are okay. They're okay. Thank you. Hi and good evening, everyone else. I hope everyone is okay. Please remember to like and subscribe so you know when Inbaal, etc. is on. So we're on right now on the platforms that I mentioned. And also, once the live show is finished, this gets uploaded to all the streaming platforms, to all the podcasting platforms. And so we can exist forever. When we are live, you can send us messages. I know, needless to say, when we are not live, you can send us messages, but we will not receive them. We've got a message from Nilda, who says, hi, Inbaal, Mark, and everyone. She sends blessings and blessings to you. Oh, and we have a message from Grizzly Chris, who runs the whole channel. The Bigfoot Outlaw channel is Grizz's channel. And it says, you can support me by sending stars. Stars help me earn money to make more content. Rob is here and he says, hey, hey, hey. Mark is greeting Nilda. Mark is greeting Rob. Sorry, the message is not showing up. Mark is greeting Rob. Rob and Mark. Rob says, first day back at work today. So sad. I love your boundless optimism. Mark, greeting Nilda, greeting. Rob is giving us a flash, a literal flash into his life, saying, just got out of the shower, gonna get some ice cream to go with this. I really hope you have a towel on. Please have a towel on. Rob is saying hi. Sandy Black is saying hello, Inbaal, and many blessings to one and all. And you've got a crystal ball there, and you've got a candle. I think I have a candle, but it's like behind the computer. Mark is greeting. Oh, couldn't eat ice cream. Oh, and then the stem cell transplant reset my allergies, and I can, which was needed this summer. That's incredible. Probably the only person on earth sort of talking fondly of his stem cell transplants. Rob says, going to give me poops, possibly an asthma attack and aggravate my eczema. So should I be having it? Probs not. I still would. Sandy is sending Mabon blessings, specifically to Mark, but I'm going to take some to myself as well. Blessings of the season. There's actually sort of quite an exciting avalanche of events coming up, because Sunday is, in fact, the autumn solstice, also known as Mabon, and it is also the eclipse. And then just a day and a half after that, we've got the start of Libra season and also Rosh Hashanah. So that is extremely exciting. Kathy saying good evening, Inbaal. Hi, Kathy. Saying hello, New York. Wonderful. And Nilda says New York, Bronx, is it? Mark says, flash out whatever messages we send you. That's dangerous. Not too dangerous. Not too dangerous. Nilda is greeting Sandy. Rob is saying, I'm done with eclipses. No more. So we've got the eclipse coming up. And then, if I am not mistaken, the next eclipse is next March, April. Almost 100% sure it's next March and April. It comes like in a pair, but then we have more next year. I was just checking. Sandy greeting Nilda. Rob says, by all means, hit me with an eclipse reading. Reveal them secrets. Deck, your choice. Thank you, Rob, for getting us started. I love it. Let's hit Rob with an eclipse reading. I'm going to take 3 cards because I love them in 3s. Ooh. Right. First of all, you're going to be completely floored. We've got 3 major arcana. How did that happen? How did that happen? I don't know. It's 3 major arcana. So it shows that in between those 2 eclipses, you might feel like you're alone, but this is what you wanted. So it shows you alone and kind of holding your own. It shows you alone and feeling righteous. It shows you alone and feeling cheeky, feeling frisky. So enjoy your eclipse activities. If you feel like you're starting to get a bit fruitful, and you've got your own company to enjoy, absolutely go for it. Let the eclipse guide you. When the lights are off, no one can tell. And Nilda is following it up, saying eclipse reading, please. Let's do that. Let's do that, Nilda. So I'm going to go with a soft deck for you as well, as you didn't ask. And let's have a look at a cute reading for Nilda. Eclipse reading. Ooh. Do you know, the eclipses are all about changes. That's like the main thing in an eclipse. It's stepping outside of the routine. It's stepping outside of the norm. It's inviting new ideas. If we go back to, to when the planets meant a lot, when we go back to when people would look at the stars and that would be their entertainment, they might have not known when to predict eclipses. And so when they happened, they were a scary occurrence. Could it be that the gods are angry with us and we need to change our conduct? Could it be that something in the whole world is kind of gone on its axis? Something is wrong physically with our universe and we need to change our actions. So not just change, but the desire for change is one of the main points of the eclipse. I was thinking, well, your readings always show up with changes anyway, but look what came up. It says you need to leave something behind. And to me, it looks like you need to leave somewhere behind. Does that make sense to you? Leaving somewhere behind. And it says that it is connected with the women in your family, those who have gone before you. And it says that there is a way to combine the past with the future. The way to combine the past with the future is with art, with creativity. I also see a connection to the church. So could it be that you're going back to where your mom was from, or going back for inspiration to where the church where your mom would worship? There's something there that sends you back to the past just to bring it back into the future. And that creates the creative flow that is needed for you in between those 2 eclipses. I hope that makes sense. So we had a total lunar eclipse on the 7th, and that was a lunar eclipse in Pisces. And then we have a solar eclipse, a partial solar eclipse coming up on the 21st, and that will be in Virgo. Eclipses always come in pairs. You always get the solar and the lunar, one after the other. And usually they would be in opposite signs, but not always. Sometimes the pairs just sort of go after the change of season. So this pair all happened inside Virgo season, or is happening inside Virgo season. And so the lunar eclipse is in the opposite sign to Virgo, which is Pisces. And then the solar eclipse is in Virgo, because it's in Virgo. If, for example, the 2 eclipses were on the 14th and the 28th, then they won't be in the same season because most star signs change on the 19th, 20th, 21st, 22nd, Leo 23rd. So they won't be in exactly opposite seasons. And I think, let me check that I'm not saying it incorrectly, but I think the eclipses, the next pair of eclipses are in not opposite signs. They're like in different seasons. So on, oh no, let me have a look. Yes, that's right. So the next pair of eclipses will be on February 17th, 2026 and March 3rd, 2026. The eclipse on February 17th will be in Aquarius season and will therefore be in the sign of Aquarius. And then the eclipse in on March 3rd will be in Pisces season and will be in the opposite sign to Pisces, which is Virgo. So they're 2 weeks apart. They're always 2 weeks apart. There's always two of them, but they're not exactly like opposite. They're kind of opposites. Mark says, interesting about the eclipse and getting the secrets out. I have no real secrets anymore, except the bits I'm doing with the general public stuff. You might not have secrets, but it's possible that people around you have secrets. It's possible that your neighbor has secrets. It's possible that your doctors are keeping secrets and they will come out and tell you, or it'll occur to you that there is a different truth to what you know. The exposure of secrets is not necessarily you and your own. Mark says 15 books. I've got maybe 50. Yeah, no, it was ridiculous. But you know what? It saved me from buying her book because I was just standing in Smith's kind of leafing through the book. And when I said, there's really no point you stepping quietly if you're leaving the machine so slowly and doing all that so slowly. The kitchen has a door. Cheers. So I never bought the Marie Kondo book, and I think that was a fine choice. Well, do you know, when we were fixing the children's rooms, the younger two have a joint bookcase, and it's huge, and it has basically all the books that everybody else is done with. It gets them, and then they get to decide if they, keep or throw. And I went through the Hebrew books that they have, which is all our children's books in Hebrew, and a lot of them are duplicates, triplicates, and we kept one of each. And then I had boxes down here with like 150 books. That was 150 books. That's 10 times the 15, 150 books of just duplicates and triplicates of Hebrew children's books. And really, really luckily, I thought, I wonder if like the rabbi that was teaching my my big boy for his bar mitzvah, maybe she'll want it. And I said to her, could you use some kids' books in Hebrew? And she was like, oh, yeah, I'm actually sort of teaching a group of elderly how to read Hebrew. So children's books would be really useful. And I said to her, I have like 150. So how many do you think would realistically be okay for me to bring to you? And she took the whole 150. And I was so thrilled to meet somebody who's clearly exactly like me and who thinks, well, 150 books, that's fine. That's not a lot, because 15 is just this. That's no books at all. And Rob is swearing. He says no more than 15 books. Sounds like a cult. It sounds worse than a cult. Mark is getting on board saying, but hey, if you want to do a wee reading for me, then please feel to. I'm easy, as you know by now. I come here to form to be a form of unofficial mod. I really thought for a second that you were saying mob. was like, no. So let's do a little eclipse reading for Mark. What have we got for you? Right. I've got interesting stuff for you around the work, believe it or not. I know you do believe it. So what I've got for you, Mark, is that it says at the moment you've got a bit of a routine. You're not so sure about that routine because you don't know whether you should be more strict with yourself or whether you should be more easygoing about what comes out of each session of, of creative working that you do. And what it says here is that if you question yourself less, you're questioning yourself too much. If you question yourself less, then you would be able to enjoy the work even more, which I know you already enjoy it like beautifully. But if you stop questioning yourself, pick up any mistakes later on in the editing. The actual process doesn't have to be like exact. If you're able to enjoy yourself more, your output, your results will be 3 times as much. You'll be able to be 3 times more efficient just by bringing more joy into it. So rather than questioning yourself, let yourself enjoy it. And it says that it'll be about 10 months. So it's several eclipses from now before you're getting in the groove of producing and selling and it becomes an income. And then while some stuff sells, you create some other stuff, and then you've got a routine that really, really works for you. So it's still a couple of eclipses away, but it's all happening. And it's all like inevitable. It has to happen. Rob says, I thought it was the equinox today. I thought I missed it there. Phew, I got time. Yeah, you've got the equinox on the 21st. It's like the 16th now. The equinox doesn't even move that much. Roger is here saying howdy, Inbaal, Kathy, and everyone. Hi. Nilda says eclipse reading, please. I think I did. Rob says, thank you. 3 major. Whoa, big one for me. Indeed, a big one. 3 majors that remind you that you are there for you. Oh, look who's here. Sabrina saying hola. Mwah. I was really thinking of you when I was saying that in the eclipse, secrets are coming out. So you're finding out everything. Greetings to Sabrina from everyone. Well done, well done. Rob says, Rob telling Sabrina about doing eclipse readings for us if you want to ask for one or reading about what you fancy. Kathy is coming along and says, I would love an eclipse reading, please. I would love to give it to you. Let's have a look what the eclipse has in store for Kathy. So, very nice. You've got slightly similar cards to Nilda, which was showing kind of a creative integration of past and future. But for you, it says that it's not around the family, it is around work. It says that your income is linked at the moment to your ability to be creative. And so it might be required of you to express yourself in a way that makes things appear more sellable, but actually what you're doing is the same. You just have to describe it in a more creative way. And so when you approach the money-making side of your life, don't be humble, don't be modest, be all out. Make it sound incredible. The eclipse doesn't change what you do. It changes how creatively you explain it. So I hope that makes a little bit of sense. Let's see who else we've got here. Rob is saying fly away, Nilda, fly away. Hopefully this means something positive. Sabrina says, buenos dias, Mark. See, I missed last week. I just started a new job on lunch break. Congrats, says Rob. Congrats on the new job. Mark says, wait. Mark says, Sabrina, oh, hon, that's a bit sad, but at least you're here this week. Yeah, here on the lunch break. That's the best. Rob says, the lunar eclipse in Pisces was diabolical for me. It better lead to something good down the line. I hope it does. The lunar eclipse in Pisces was not as bad as it could have been for me. Mark says, did I ever tell you N is a Virgo? Or have I said that? If I said it too many times. Happy birthday to all Virgos. Mark says it could be worse, could be a total eclipse of the heart by Gaynor Hopkins. Sabrina says, Mark, it was. I am happy I'm able to catch some of it. I planned my lunch break around it. Well done. Very good. Mark says, good evening. I can hear you at 10:20. Yeah. Mark says, brilliant, Sabrina. I mean, if you can, so you don't miss Inbaal, then it's a brilliant thing. Congratulations on the job. Yeah, no, you did amazing. You did amazing to get the job. Sabrina says, ooh, if it's not too late, can I get a reading what this eclipse is going to bring me? Let's have a look. I'm loving the directness of what the eclipse is going to bring. It better bring something good. Right. First of all, it says the previous eclipse is what ignited the concerns and the upside down emotions and the struggles around expressing yourself the way you wanted to express. So that's the eclipse that was. The feelings are still outcomes, the results are still felt because we've not had the second eclipse yet, but that kind of emotional upheaval, that belongs to the moon in Pisces. The Virgo solar eclipse is bringing you some interest from somebody else, romantic interest. I know you don't want to hear anything about it, but look, romantic interest, and it shows a potential of like a break or a holiday or something like that. So it could be that while you're enjoying the new job, you hear of either a wonderful destination or somebody tells you somewhere that you just have to get to. So it's igniting new things that for a long while you felt like maybe weren't necessarily part of your jigsaw, and they come back, but like with bells on. Things that you thought you might need to sort of save and skimp and not splurge too much are coming back, and they are like, look at us, all the fun things, all the exciting things. This is why you're there. So the solar eclipse is certainly so much better for you than the lunar. Sabrina says, thank you to Mark. Mark says, thanks, sweetie, for the reading. Mark and Rob are arranging their date on the WhatsApp. Rob says, I wasn't expecting the equinox. I thought the Mabon blessings from Sandra meant it was today, so I got confused. Oh, no, I'm only here like once a week, and Laura's not around this Thursday, so I'm not going to pop on Thursday. So this is my last chance to chat about the eclipse. Rob says, salted caramel Haagen-Dazs, glorious, enjoy it. Sabrina says, secrets are coming out, aren't they just? I love it when secrets come out. Mark says, Rob, I knew of salted caramel 30 years ago before the people in the UK got here. It was Scandinavia. When I was a kid. Oh, really? Was it a big thing in Sweden when you were growing up? That's amazing. Kathy very sweetly says, thank you. Yes, I understand. Right. Amazing. And Nilda says, yes, the reading makes sense. I'm on a deeper spiritual journey, and I've been asking my past loved one for help and gods. Amazing. And I love that you combine like the traditional with the alternative, and that it's all part of the same journey. Rob says, Mark, you have been having this joyful life. Yay for you. Nilda says, my sign is in Scorpio, so the full moon revealed a lot. Very good. The moon and the water signs, which is also me with a Pisces, Sabrina with a Cancer. I think there's quite a few Pisces there. The moon is connected to all the water signs. The moon is what pulls our tides of the water, like tides in and out. Water signs are connected with water, connected with the tides. You as a Scorpio, the full moon will do a whole bunch of stuff. And also Scorpios are all about the secrets. So the secrets uncovered is not the Scorpio's favorite moment, because it might be uncovering your secrets, but you certainly love to find them. Sabrina says, Inbaal, I love how you said it better bring something. It better is what I tell you. It better. I think, a little menacing threat here and there with you when dealing with the tarot, when dealing with the crystal ball, is very positive. Mark says, Rob, yeah, my mom used to send them back with me, and every Yule. Oh, was it a Christmassy thing? The salted caramel. Rob says you're about to have a really juicy reading when Inbaal takes a deep breath before she unleashes it. Yeah, it's really true. I never noticed it. But yeah, I guess that's my little pause. We've got little pause. That's my little pause. When there's something that's sort of a little harsh that I've got to deliver. Oops. Sabrina says, haha, I'm being open to the love aspect. Right. I'm flashing all the messages because I think it's probably good for the algorithm. But I'm not reading all of them. And if anything is too rude, I can't even flash it on the screen. Nilda says, true, very good. Mark says, Sabrina, we should always be open to love. I'm not going to go into that kind of relationship. I'm open to love for my friends and those I meet in everyday life. That's really famous last words. Love never leaves you alone for very long. Not a Christmassy thing, just a treat. Sabrina says, friendship, without a doubt, it's the romantic side that I proceed with caution. Caution is very called for. Let me take some eclipse cards for myself, and I'm actually going to do it with the Rider-Waite-Smith that I rarely do, but I feel like it's a good opportunity to drag it out a little bit and see what it's got to say. Right, what is the eclipse bringing me? Ooh. Right. Okay, not too bad. So the eclipse is bringing a struggle to stay on top. No giggling, Mark. A struggle to stay on top. It says I can work all the hours if I really want to, and if it's really important for me to be the person that works all the hours. Thank you so much. I take no criticism there. It's showing a lot of romantic love. And indeed, Sean told me he's working from home tomorrow. And it also shows that seeds that I sowed months ago are coming to fruition. Let's see, any important emails. Okay, a lot of junk mail, but also a nice job a little bit later. But it says that the seeds that I sowed are coming together. At the moment, teaching a new girl how to read the tarot from scratch. She has a lot of background in spirituality and spiritual thinking, but not a lot of background in divination. And it is so exciting for me. It's such a source of joy to go through each card in turn and to explain all the different meanings of it and to demonstrate like all the little nuances and clues and hints. So today we went through the Two of Pentacles and the Three of Pentacles, and it was such a joy because she's doesn't have a lot of background in the tarot, but she's a very positive, very optimistic, really, really psychic person. And the Three of Pentacles is one of my like least favorite cards. I find it dull. I find it restrictive. And she looked at it and she was like, oh, it looks like magical collaboration. And I was like, yeah, that is exactly what it means. Like straight away, that's exactly what it means. And she was relating to the different characters in the card, and I was so inspired by it. I love teaching so much because the students show me more than I could know myself. Look at that magical collaboration. And for the Two of Pentacles, I went on like full geek mode. I don't know if I've done it when you're studying, but I went full geek mode and showed what that figure of 8 might be. So I'm going to pull out the Two of Pentacles and show you what we were playing with when I find it, which will be soon. There we go. So the Two of Pentacles has like a figure of 8 around it. The figure of 8 also harks to the magician, who's got a figure of 8, like an infinity symbol over his head. It also harks to the strength card, also a figure of 8 over her head. And in the world, the wreath around the world figure has a couple of ribbons that are tied in a similar kind of figure of 8. But with this figure of 8, it looks very much like a Mobius strip. And I was like, do you know what a Mobius strip is? Which is not the kind of question anybody wants to be asked. So I pulled out a ribbon and I showed her how when you have like a strip, like a ribbon held in a circle, like, you know, the regular way, then it has two sides, right? So if you have like a little toy car, it would go all the way around one side or all the way around another side. But if you take the strip and turn one side upside down, then all of a sudden it only has one side. And it means that if you took a toy car and drove it all the way around, it would touch every part of that strip. And that infinity symbol, that figure of 8 on the Two of Pentacles, is very like a Mobius strip. I don't know if it's necessarily meant to be that. I don't even remember where I picked it up from, but to me, it makes the infinity symbol even more infinite. There's only one side. Anyway, yeah. So I was like on full geek form. I was so happy. We got to the end of the lesson, and obviously she's like, right, yeah, I'll see you next week. And I'm like, yeah, but you know, how was your card of the day practice? What did you get? Let me flash up some more messages there. Rob says, nice reading there for you. Yes, it was. Mark says, can you do a check on 2 certain people close to me, please? Not going to say who. You and I know whom I mean, but no one else does. Thanks in advance. Yeah, let's use the Rider-Waite Smith for that as well, because we're checking on people who are perhaps not limited, but, young. So let's see. We'll call it the big one and the small one. Both fabulous. Look at that. So for the big one, we have the Page of Wands. Active, ready to get started with his life, strong, warm, a go-getter, a doer. And for the small one, we have loving, romantic. We've got the Knight of Cups. It shows that he makes his decisions with his heart. The fact that we got two young men for both of those cards is, I think, fascinating. Each of them is going on his journey absolutely fine. He's managing fine. It'll be better when things are as you want them, but for the moment, they are 100% fine exactly the way they are. Don't you worry. Rob says, Inbaal, have you told her about the practice Facebook group? I would have to swap with her and let her practice in the safe space. I will tell her as soon as we finish. I'll tell her. I'm not 100% sure if she's on Facebook, but I will. I'm going to say Rob needs somebody to practice on, but she's literally like 3 cards in and I think not very confident yet. Mark says, that's a lovely reading for you, Han. I think it shows that you're working your tush off and it is good. And Fatih, bless her, I still remember when she was a baby. Yeah, yes. Yeah. Sabrina says, you are the best teacher. Thank you. I try to be the best, just like my reading said, work day and night to be the best. Sabrina says, I'm going to head back. So happy I got to catch some of the live. Have a lovely week, everyone. Thank you so much. So amazing to see you. We've got greetings, and greetings from everyone. Amazing. And then why don't I do a little crystal ball reading for the collective? This is for everyone for eclipse season. So what I can see here, and incidentally, readings for the collective are not necessarily even like time limited. So it's not just for the people who are, watching with us right now. It would be for the people that are listening later on. It would be for whoever can take the message. So what we've got here is a gap. There's a gap between who you want to be and who you believe yourself to be right now. And it says that even if you feel like who you are right now is not at all who you want to be, is not at all who you will be in the future, it's the same person. There are different iterations of the same person. And so in order to become who you want to be, you don't need to change. You just need to stop blocking yourself from becoming entirely that person in exactly the way that you want for it to be. So I really hope that makes sense to somebody, that the change doesn't mean to be completely different, but to just allow yourself to have that new flavor, to allow yourself to be everything that you want to be and everything that you can be. We've kind of looked at all the questions, and therefore, Rob says, oh, lovely crystal ball reading. I like when the ball shows up. Mark says, did you say you're having Thursday off? No, I just said I'm not going to pop on here on Thursday, but I'm not having it off at all. I've got Thursday, I've got a meeting with, instead, I've got a meeting with Amanda who makes the oils with me, because we want to do like a big campaign on TikTok, because Amanda's like big on TikTok. I don't know, whatever. But yeah, so instead of coming on here, I'm going to be talking to her. But if we're trying to make a time for us, then generally Mondays are good. But yeah, but I have got the day off because Laura's not coming. So I think the show is so much more fun when it's the two of us, so that it doesn't become exactly the same as this one. Rob says Inbaal doesn't do days off. She'll be giving readings in depth, being spirit guide to the masses. It's true. It's true. I don't do days off. I didn't have a smartphone when I gave birth, like the first time. So I used my teeny tiny phone that I had at the time. That was just like a flip phone with 10 buttons to try and connect to the internet. It was a sorry state of affairs. Monday around 28th. Yeah, we shall text. Fabulous. So I believe everybody's got their questions answered, and we had a little chit chat about the eclipse, and we're ready for the next eclipses. And therefore, I might leave you alone. Mark says, no, I know you didn't have a smartphone. I remember it. I didn't mind it so much. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm going to see you again around this time next week, maybe 50 minutes earlier. And if you need to get a hold of me in the meantime, then emails or Instagram or anything like that is the easiest way to get a hold of me. Have a great eclipse and a great equinox. See you next week.